Welcome to these airwaves, Congressman Brian Mast, the 6th borough down in Florida. Welcome, Congressman Mast. How are you this afternoon?
It is good to talk to you today, sir.
You know what? You are such a hero. And, when we decided that we were going to celebrate Hispanic American Day, your name came up. And I said, we have to talk to you. And, it's interesting because I had never, in all the time that I've known you and known about you, it didn't connect to me that you have a Hispanic heritage. Tell us a little bit about your family first before we start digging into the events of the day, which I want to get to fairly quickly. And also I want to tell people about your service to this country.
Yeah, most people don't know about it. If you were to break me up, it would be half Mexican, half Dutch, all American. My mother, her name was Maxina Trujillo. God rest her soul. She passed a few years back, and her brother served during Vietnam. Both my mother, both of her parents Mexican. Her uncle killed in World War II. Another uncle killed in Vietnam. One of them awarded the Silver Star. So great military heritage in my family on that side of my family and both sides of my family. But, really, when I think about Hispanic Heritage Month, I truly come back to all of those that I served in the military. That was probably my greatest exposure to Hispanic Americans, even bigger than that side of my family, was those that I served with in the military across the board.
Now let's talk about your service. Congressman Mast, the first time I saw you, the first time I met you, and you can't help but notice, you lost both your legs, and you lost both your legs in service. And you didn't go somewhere and crawl into a corner and say, woe is me, my life is over. You stand tall. You stand tall to this day, and you serve this nation to this day. Tell us what happened to you, how it happened, and just fill us in.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's what we as Americans do. We don't curl up in a corner and quit. We face challenges. We own them. We look them in the eye, and we give them a size 10 in the backside. That's what Americans do. It's what defines us. I was serving in Afghanistan back in 2010. I was a bomb technician within Joint Special Operations Command. And the long story short is one too many. I was out with my assault force in the dark of night, looking in a place that I knew there was a device, and I didn't find it until I stepped on it. It detonated underneath my feet, threw me 10 feet through the air, and when I landed, I was, missing two legs and coughing up a whole bunch of dirt and soot that was blasted up into my body from that explosion. But the reality is, again, to go back to that, we just, as Americans, we take those challenges and we don't let them destroy us. We let them become things that make us the strongest that we've ever been, or at least that's how we've always been. I've got my doubts about what we're doing as of late.
And so I want to transition to that, but I just want to say one other thing. I'm sure that your medical issues, although you have conquered most of them, I'm sure that you still deal with pain. I'm sure you deal with the ramifications of your service to this country. Would I be accurate in assuming that?
I have some pain. I thank God for this. I have not been on any kind of pain medication since about 6 months after injury. I woke up after injury on a laundry list of pain medications. I had an epidural, I had a Dilaudid drip, I had oral morphines and oxys, sleep sedatives, antidepressants, anti-inflammatories. I'd never been on anything in my life, and I woke up in a hospital with them shoving this stuff down my throat. I started to get off of it immediately, and if I never see another narcotic again in my life, I will thank God for that, because I can tell you, I went through the gamut of withdrawal symptoms when I was trying to get off of that, just for 6 months of being exposed to that. But yeah, thank God, really not much pain that I have to deal with, thank God.
And you're just amazing. Now, Representative Brian Mast is with us. Let's talk about Afghanistan. Let's talk about the suicide bomber who carried out the deadly attack at Kabul airport. And news stories say he had just been released from prison days earlier. How do you process this? How do you process what happened? You were in Afghanistan. You know what the Afghan people are up against. How do you process everything that this administration has done with this withdrawal that they are still calling a success? And by the way, Americans are still trapped in Afghanistan.
How do I process that? Not just serving in Afghanistan. It was my job to go out every night and either kill and capture individuals like this, kill or capture them, and put them into places like that lockup at Bagram or other places. That was the work. I've lost more friends than this, but for some reason in my life, I stopped counting the number of friends that I lost at 67. That's how many friends I lost rolling up idiots like this suicide bomber that killed 13 of our U.S. service members. And that sacrifice of those that I lost, everybody is asking, was it in vain? Was it all for naught? Not because of our service over there, but because President Joe Biden pissed away 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears, the blood of people like myself and my friends, the tears of family members that lost their loved ones, the sweat of all of those that laid it on the line night after night on the battlefield. That's what people are asking. Was it worth it now that he pissed all that away, all of that hard work? And it's difficult to process in a whole bunch of different ways. Is it worth it for me? It's still worth it because I was injured serving brothers of mine that I loved as much as my own family, that I stood shoulder to shoulder with. And there were many that were injured serving shoulder to shoulder with me, and that can never be taken away. But to think that America is going to be attacked with our own weapons, attacked by those that we gave life and limb to lock up once already because we knew how bad they were to begin with, to think that our standing has been so greatly diminished across the globe, the Middle East, and even here on our own continent, all of those things are unbearable for people that love this country enough to give their lives for it.
Sir, thank you so much for your service. You, as I said, Congressman, you're a hero of mine. I've had the honor of meeting you several times and seeing and being in events that you've taken place in. And one thing is for sure, the spirit of patriotism in America is not dead. It lives in you. It is in your spirit, and you make this country a great country, and you inspire people. And thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you, sir, and you. Thank you for having me today.